Beastkeeper, a book that sounds like it could be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but isn't exactly what you think. It's also a book that had mass potential, and, well, you're just going to have to hear the rest. The story starts with a girl finding out that her mom has walked out on her and her father. Her father starts deteriorating, and she has to figure out how to live this life without her mom, who did a great deal around the house. She confides inside this mysterious elf boy inside a kind of wood inside an empty lot, and she just doesn't know anything that's going on at that point in time. Her father, one day, after a small incident at home, proving that they really can't live without their mother, he decides to take her to where his mother is. So we're going to call her Evil Grandma. So he takes her to Evil Grandma inside a place that has a remnant of a keep for a home. And her grandma really is a evil grandma-like person. The kind where she may be rich, but you don't want to be around her anyway because she's such a pain in the rear to deal with. So he leaves with Evil Grandma, and Evil Grandma decides to put her to work, chores, earn her keep that way. And they're not even bad chores. It's not like she's scrubbing the whole keep down or anything crazy like that. It's mostly get the vegetable garden ready. So inside the vegetable garden, she ends up talking to Evil Grandma's white raven. Yes, she has a white raven that can talk. And the white raven takes her someplace where they can talk for a little bit, and she finds out about the curse on their family. The curse involves Grandma and Grandpa actually not really loving each other. And the previous night, she had actually seen her grandfather, who was a beast. He was described as a beast that's crossed between Prince Adam Beast inside Beauty and the Beast, and that weird Grimm-like thing that's inside Neverending Story that hunts down Atreyu. Not the nothing, the weird wolf thing. Anyway, that's what her grandfather has now turned into, at least in my mind. And he is chained up inside a shack by his grandmother and fed leftovers. So Granny doesn't love Grandpa. And apparently he became a beast because he fell in love with Grandma. And that happened long after they're already married and had a son, and their son was almost fully grown. And as soon as they found out about this curse taking full effect on them, they sent their son into the non-magical world, our world, to basically live without the curse. You have a girl going, okay, what am I supposed to do about all of this? Evil Grandma's no help whatsoever, but the girl finds Elf Boy, and he tells her even more about the legends or the problem that happened with all the curses on her family. Because apparently on her other side, her mom is also cursed by Evil Grandma, and all because her mom is the daughter of the witch who cursed the family originally. It makes it so that when she no longer is in love with the person that she fell in love with, she would turn into a wren, or a small bird of some sort. And so when both her parents fell in love, apparently instantly and equally, they didn't have any problems for a very, very long time. And then, around the time this girl's 13, 14, her parents suddenly start falling out of love. Woman first. Which is pretty sad. The man tends to love a lot longer than the woman. It's weird that way. So, the girl decides that she wants to break the curse. And the only way to really break the curse is to get the witches to break the curses. Evil Grandma, cursed mom, and also cursed her other grandma, who is, we're going to call her Witch Grandma. And so, apparently also Elf Boy was Witch Grandma's apprentice for a very long time, which makes him kind of the girl's enemy, but at the same time she's starting to crush on him a little. And it's kind of on purpose, too. He needs her help in order to find her mom. So the girl decides to release her grandpa in hopes to actually start reversing the curse. Grandpa still has his human mind, not very well, because it goes back and forth between human and beast. And shortly thereafter, she is kicked out by Evil Grandma and found by Elf Boy. And because of his kindness, she falls in love with him. He's not in love with her. She turns into a beast. So now we have 3 beasts running around inside this enchanted forest. And Grandpa kind of has his brain. Daddy definitely does not have his brain. And the girl loses and then comes back to herself pretty quickly and comes back to Elf Boy, who uses her new abilities to help find her mom, who apparently isn't that far off. So they go back to the keep, find the wren, who is singing around the keep, and then the White Raven comes down, and Elf Boy takes the wren and breaks the wren's neck. Instantly, the main girl no longer loves this guy because he just killed her mom, but this does not turn her back into a human being. Apparently, as soon as you fall in love, you're doomed to become a beast unless the other person loves you back. So, killing the wren released the White Raven to become Witch Grandma again. And Witch Grandma is devastated and decides to take Elf Boy back with her to the deep woods, basically a little safe haven for them, and she blinds him. That's his punishment. He has to stay by her side and be blinded. The main heroine, as a beast, carries Wren Mom all the way back to the deep woods, sets her at the feet of her mother, and even though she's dead, she doesn't turn into a human. And the main character, she tells Witch Grandma to undo the curse. In order for her to undo the curse, it would actually kill her. She had to transfer her power to another person. And so she refuses out of sheer stubbornness. So the heroine takes blinded Elf Boy out of the deep wood, takes him back to his home, and they decide to live their life over at his little cottage until Witch Grandma and Evil Grandma get their act together. So 60 or 70 or so many eons of years pass, and Witch Grandma finally comes over to Blind Boy and Beast Girl and decides to transfer her power to Blind Boy in order to die and break the curse entirely on the family, so that at least her granddaughter could have a happily ever after. So Witch Grandma dies, Elf Boy becomes all powerful, and the main character becomes a girl again. And that is seriously where it ends. All this takes place in about 120 pages, roughly, not exact. And honestly, the characters were so freaking irritating. The main character is as dense as can be, can't infer anything, and is so wishy-washy about life as a human that I really cannot relate to her. And then you have Elf Boy, who you can tell is manipulating her, but at the same time, she doesn't seem to get it that he's manipulating her. And he's, such a jerk there. The grannies, they both irritate me. You'd think after hundreds of years of living, they'd be sick of it. Especially inside isolation like that. The only characters I could really relate to inside the entire thing was Grandpa. Stuck as a beast, and not knowing what to do. I would have loved to have seen a lot more character development, but inside 120 pages, there was next to no character development. One second you have a wishy-washy tween who just is griping and want to go home, and then the next second she's a beast and therefore more stronger and able to actually save the day and knows what she's doing and goes for forgiveness as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old girl. And I am just going, are you completely insane? This girl was, I would love to say that I was better at 12 and 13, but I remember throwing a temper tantrum about an English assignment at that point in time. Yeah, I threw the book across the room that time, actually. So I'm not much better, but at the same time, I would like to think that the main heroine had a little bit more brains than that. And, grandmas, they were, let's just put it flat out there, this girl did not win the lottery when it came to family relations. The one good part I actually did like about the book was that it did talk about different kinds of love there are, such as there's love for a parent and a child, there's a love that is one-sided love that's unanimous, there's love of just image, like Grandma and Grandpa got married because they love each other's image. They didn't really care much for each other's character. So, the fact that they weren't really in love, but then eventually did fall in love. And here's the thing, marriage is work. I have been told this most of my life, but a lot of people don't seem to get this at the same time. Marriage is work. You actually have to work on your relationship. You will fall in and out of love regularly. You'll have a friendly love. You'll have a enduring love. You'll have I love you for your flaws, I love you for your perfections, I love you for the way you look, I love you for how you cook. there's a lot of different kinds of love. And people can fall out of love and they can go back into love. And sometimes it really is an accordion, basically. In and out, different notes all the way through. And sometimes you fall completely out of love, sometimes you don't. We don't understand all the reasons, and I don't get the reasons inside this book, why exactly any of them fell in love with anyone. Why on earth would the original love triangle have this issue to begin with? Maybe it's because they've never been inside a good relationship, or any real relationship, but the whole thing got convoluted because of that. And that was one of the big draws of the book. It had so much potential because of the basic plot. But the writing itself was so simplistic. It needed description, it needed action, it needed better pacing, it needed character development. So much character development was needed, and it didn't have any of that. And that annoyed me so very much. That is the biggest problem with the book. It honestly could have been a lot longer, and it would have been fleshed out better. It's more like a first draft. If you want to go for a more young adult novel, this one was found in the juvenile section. I saw it while I was just working, and it was like, this looks interesting. The back looks good. Okay, I can try this. And it was massively disappointing. Now, this is the same section we can get Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, False Prince, Princess Academy. You get all these books all in the same section as Beastkeeper, and it just was not up to par with any of them. So we already know that kids can love big books and they can love deep books with much better vocabulary. I mean, Series of Unfortunate Events was actually written to trick kids into getting a bigger vocabulary. So this book it irritated me. The whole thing just irritated me enough that even a week later, or 2 weeks later, I think, I'm still irritated by this book. So, yeah, that's Beastkeeper in a nutshell. I would recommend it probably for 8-year-old girls, maybe 9, 10, but no more than 12 or 13. But for the most part, it is got such a limited audience. If you're an adult, don't bother with it. You'll be just banging your head against the wall thinking, why is everyone so stupid? It's all really about pride. And if you want a good story about Pride, Pride and Prejudice is a lot better. You get way better characters, way better descriptions. It is overall a lot better. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about Beastkeeper right now. Hopefully I'll get back to more important things later, like a reading of a fanfic or something. Anyway, that's Beastkeeper. Bye there.